Craig.
So,
Hello.
Oh,
Welcome
You wanted to say
Kino
something. I
Therapy.
interrupted first. Sorry, Ben.
yes. So my
Can you say
prediction.
that again, Ben, without me talking over you?
Wait, have we just stopped introducing the show itself and just jumped right in? Because I feel okay. Because I feel like we should still be introducing the show.
I mean, we can.
Let's just hi. We're Kino Therapy. We talk about Kino related stuff.
Movie.
and
Kino is
football.
movie.
Football news a lot of times.
It's not
So-
football time.
Nope.
So it's
This one's actually a
then it's
basketball
Kino
thing.
time.
and it's Kino time.
We've evolved to basketball.
Yeah, it's now basketball.
Football in the winter, basketball in the summertime. I love it.
So my prediction from the last episode about the Celtics was proven correct. Celtics in 5. Congrats to them.
Yeah, congratulations to the Boston Celtics. I predicted them in 6, so I was wrong.
You
I
were
didn't think
wondering.
Dallas. I
You're
didn't think
not
Dallas
you're
was gonna
not
be
a
that
true
bad.
you're not a true believer, Zach. That's why.
I went to the parade.
Oh yeah, that's right. You did.
You didn't believe in your Celtics hard enough. You thought they'd only make it if it was at the 6th game, but no. They made it at the 5th. You're wrong.
I was dead wrong.
But yeah, Jaylen Brown won MVP for that, and ESPN can shut the fuck up now.
And they now have more championships than any other NBA team.
I mean, I felt like they kind of already did.
Well, they were tied
were
with the
tied with the
Lakers.
Lakers for 17. Now they have 18.
Take that, Kobe.
And LeBron.
And LeBron, yeah.
I mean, if you ever gone to Terminal C at Logan, they just display all the championships loud and proud. It's like wall to wall Celtics championships, and then a couple Super Bowls thrown in, and then
the World Series.
and a couple World Series, but it's like the first half of is just all green from Celtics championships. And now there's a new one that Terminal C can proudly display, hosting to all the people leaving Boston, Massachusetts.
Yep. The City of Champions, baby.
They should really have that in the arrivals when you're leaving the terminal. That way we could just flex at you immediately as you're not you haven't even left the terminal yet, and we're already flexing on you about our sports teams.
It's what, 13 for the city of Boston since 2001. So yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
How do you like them apples?
And then the Yankees with their 27, who haven't won a World Series since 2009. So,
I mean, I guess that's over a decade now. But I mean, Yankees aren't they haven't been number 1 for a while though, as far as baseball.
So one other thing I was gonna say was Inside Out 2 is now outgrossed Dune 2.
Yep, that was one news thing I was going to talk about this week. Yes, Dune Part 2 has been dethroned
By another 2.
By another Part 2.
A lot of 2s.
But this one has anxiety. I mean, I'm not talking about the character. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, you kind of are, but yeah.
Yes, another Part 2. I remember Denis Villeneuve said, "How does it feel that you have the highest grossing movie of the year?" He's like, "I'm not happy with that." And they're like, "Why? Why aren't you happy?" He's like, "That means that there's no competition, that there's no movies that are outpacing my movie."
Yeah, that's the thing. There's like movies that aren't sequels that aren't doing as good as, the sequels that we have had.
I just finally saw Furiosa yesterday, and like that movie has been underperforming since it launched.
Yes,
Yeah,
I think it just passed
the break-even
Its
point.
budget.
break even. Yeah.
Oh,
which is
that's
pretty
good.
cool.
So it'll make a little bit of money.
And
That's good.
this weekend was probably like the last weekend it was gonna be in theaters.
Oh yeah, well it's been almost a month
because
since
it's on
Memorial Day,
VOD
right?
already as of tomorrow.
Hell yeah.
And then you have like movies like The Fall Guy that bombed after like 2 weeks, and
How
it
did-
was
Just keep things in theaters, please.
yeah.
yeah, let's just keep all
Again,
movies
I went
in
over that
theaters.
rant already. I'm
Oh
not gonna
yeah,
go
you
over
did
it
the rant.
again.
You did the rant.
Did that make a pod, or was that a Thursday discussion?
I can't
We were
remember
just
now.
chatting.
Well,
I
I
don't
think it might
remember.
have been. So I'll repeat what I said. And this, I guess I'll talk
Let
now.
me reiterate.
Yeah, let me reiterate. So a couple weeks ago, I shared on. I have a Instagram reviews movie account that I review some movies on that I currently am watching or see. Mostly new movies that I see in theaters, although sometimes I will throw in an old movie where I'll review that. But anyway, so I shared from according to IndieWire's box office, streamers are quietly shortening the wait for theatrical movies. And then I did a rant where I said, I support streaming, but I do not support movie theaters not getting support from audiences and studios. I know tickets are expensive, but just go once or twice a year. Better than staying home.
Right.
Right.
What are your thoughts on that, guys? Streamers shortening the window of movies being in theaters. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, it's kind of annoying, especially because like I'm one of those people that usually doesn't rush out to see a movie right away because I usually like wait a week or two before I go see
Yeah.
a movie. And yeah, it's getting annoying because like I've been missing movies like when like they leave theaters before I can catch them. Like I
Mm-hmm.
think there were a couple. I think there was like one or two last year that I missed.
Ain't like Pokemon. You can't catch them all.
You
Yeah.
can't catch them all.
Well, to be fair, last year was an incredible year for movies. A lot of worthy stuff to go see. Um, uh, this year hasn't been a ton I've been wanting to like go see in theaters. I've only been to like 3 movies in the theaters this year.
Yeah, it's been kind of low for me as well, but that hasn't been of lack of interest. There hasn't been anything that's appealed to me that I have to go see it just because
Yeah.
I mean, the prices for tickets never bother me because movies is I mean, I'm part of this podcast, so I
Yeah.
obviously have a passion for movies,
Well,
but
like 13, 14 bucks, that's really not that much.
No.
If you go like once a month even, like that's not that much.
and that's yeah, I
That's a
go I would say I go an average of once a month at least. Yeah.
Like I go every couple weeks, depending on what's out. And I've noticed that theaters have actually started doing. Zach, I don't know if you noticed this, but Regal started doing this thing where they have their Tuesday prices for weekend movies if it starts before noon. So they started doing that.
Oh, I didn't
She's
know
smart.
they did that.
I actually
Oh,
like that.
That's
it was like a
interesting.
matinee price, but on
Yeah.
the weekend. That's cool.
I like that because sometimes, like on my days off, I kind of like going to movies in the morning.
I like
Right.
going on Saturday mornings and early Saturday afternoons to movies. I always have since I was a kid.
Yeah. Well, the thing is too, like now with long movies, the average runtime for movies, has become like you kind of need to devote more of your day to watch a movie. So I feel like starting earlier makes more sense.
Right.
Because I
Like
remember.
I rarely go at night. I want some out with you guys, or maybe there's like a horror movie that I really want to see that I'll go see at night. But I mostly see movies during the day again, unless I'm with like friends or I'm seeing a horror movie that I want to see at night, just to get that feel of it being night and horror.
Well,
What
I
I-
mean, okay, go ahead.
I was just
Sorry.
gonna say one thing. Actually, go ahead because I lost my thought.
Well, I was just gonna say, even if I'm with friends, I usually always like to go during the day with friends, like in the afternoon. I like going at night too, don't get me wrong, but that's also when like theaters are the most packed and you're more that's when you run the risk of running into annoying people.
And that's
So,
when you punch them, right?
if you want a lawsuit, yeah.
Hell yeah, I want a lawsuit.
Matt's just out, Matt's just out in the streets punching bitches that annoy him.
It's like a Grand Theft Auto game in my life.
Matt's just he's doing his what do you call it? What do you call it when you walk into the movie theater and just go up and down the aisles? What do you
Ushering?
is that okay, well when you're
No.
ushering, every time you usher,
Well, I
if you're
mean, that's the job position where you go in and you check the theater, you clean the theater afterwards. That's the usher.
Mm. Is going down through every theater that has a movie playing? Is that just to check to make sure nobody's having sex?
No, it's not. No, it's to make sure that nobody is being loud and rowdy or doing anything illegal in the theater. It's not just sex. You also go in there to check the fire escapes to make sure that's locked.
Have you
Make
ever?
sure there isn't people on their phone, there isn't people filming the screen, which is technically illegal, which I stand by because we on the pod, here's an official statement from the pod.
All
We
right,
do
official
not
statement, everybody. Cue the official statement music. Dum bum bum.
we do not support cams at this podcast. We do not support cams. All you people go into theaters filming with your camera, filming movies, putting it online. Fuck you.
Yeah, you wouldn't steal a car, right?
It's like you wanna steal this movie, put it online illegally, have the common decency to do it with an HD copy. I don't want to see your freaking DV camera and how well it films and stuff like that. No, fuck you.
Matt is also an avid anti-pirate. He is 100 against internet piracy.
Oh yeah, internet
Oh
piracy.
sure. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Don't-
Yeah.
I mean, myself, I don't think I've ever. Although that's a lie, I did years ago, but I wasn't the one to do it. One of my friends, I was over his house, and he was showing us freaking The Conjuring. It was like still in theaters, and this was like back like 20. When did that come out? 2013. Yeah, I think
Yeah,
so.
man.
So it was like whatever. It was out in theaters in 2013. He was like playing part of it on my in his laptop. I'm like, what are you doing? He's like, oh, I wanted to show you parts of The Conjuring. I'm like, turn that off. I don't want a virus on your computer.
I, lo- I, I love
Let's
the
just say he didn't have an Apple laptop, and that's all I'll say.
I love the alibi you had immediately. You're like, I wasn't pirating, guys. It was my
Someone
friend doing
else
the
was
pirate.
doing it.
Someone
was
else was doing it, and I was in the room.
It's like it's like where you're caught watching porn with your friends. You're like, I didn't put this on. My friends put this on. They made me watch this. I didn't want to watch it. I don't like titties. Titties are scary.
These are scary. I'm more of an
Conjuring
ass
had
man.
titties,
There's so
although
many tits here. I don't like it.
I don't know about Annabelle. I mean, if you take her, no. But
That's
anyway, sorry,
hilarious.
I just made it weird. All right, no. But next thing I want to talk about the news was there was a new trailer of who's back, Matt.
He's coming. It's
He is
Nosferatu.
coming.
The
Not
juice
New
is
Gandhi.
trailer
loose.
for Nosferatu. I've
Oh,
only
okay.
seen it
Nosferatu
once,
is
so I
coming.
can't do it like a 20-minute discussion breakdown on
The
what
trailer.
happened in the Nosferatu trailer.
I mean, you could if
But
you wanted to, but
I'm
we'd be
hyped.
probably-
Well, I don't want to do that either.
Yeah,
so
I won't
I'm
do that
hyped.
either. I am hyped. I'm glad they kept that Christmas Day release is interesting.
And it's gonna be on Christmas, so enjoy
That's
that.
good because we
people.
don't have a huge like. There's no freaking Star Wars or Avatar movie or freaking Marvel. Like, I'm psyched for Nosferatu. I hope people go see it. I
Mhm.
know I am.
Okay, I'm not gonna lie. I actually thought you guys were gonna talk about the Beetlejuice sequel, not Nosferatu.
Oh
Oh.
no!
I
No,
saw.
not.
No, that trailer's been out for a while. No,
I
the
know.
I mean, that
Nosferatu
looks
trailer
decent, but
has
I am.
to date
Mm,
the recording of this podcast. It's come out today.
yes, today. Yes, so it came out today. What's today? June 24th. Yeah.
Yeah,
And what was it attached to, Matt? Specifically this weekend? Do you know?
the bike riders.
Bike riders.
Bike
Jinx.
riders. Oh, it's an interesting choice to attach it with that. Hmm. Okay. I want to see bike riders. That looks cool. Because I just watched that one with Marlon Brando.
Easy Rider.
No,
Marlon Brando.
Marlon
Oh,
Brando.
Oh,
Freaking come on. Why can't Zachary? Come on, let's go.
You know it.
It's on the tip of my tongue. You can edit some of this out for length. Um I saw it a few weeks ago and it was called The Wild One. Yes, I got it. The Wild One.
oh,
Okay.
okay.
The Wild One because I'm trying to watch and this might be a theme I do at the end of the year. I'm trying to watch as many Marlon Brando movies as possible, just a side note, because this year would have been his 100th birthday, and then next year Paul Newman would be turning 100. So I'm trying to every year see any actors that are turning 100, their centennial, and trying to watch some of their movies. So I'm trying to watch as many of Marlon Brando's movies as possible.
That's quite a
I've
few
seen,
movies.
yeah, he's done a lot of good movies that I haven't seen. Like I want to see Sayonara. I want to see the last Tango in Paris.
Yes.
Yeah, I want to see that. I want to see that one. It's free, I think, on something with Matthew Broderick, where he plays like an actor that's like the Godfather like character. Like that movie
The
looks
General?
interesting.
No, not the General. The Freshman.
The Freshman, yeah, that was like early '90s, I think. I want to see that. Um, Definitely want to see the Godfather again. I saw that with you, Matt. Was it almost 2 years ago now?
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah. So anyway, so just a side note, I want to watch some more Marlon Brando movies that I haven't seen, and then you guys know On the Waterfront's one of my favorite movies, so I'll probably rewatch
Oh,
that
right.
too.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
that's a good one.
yeah. But yeah, the Nosferatu trailer, go watch it. Was it Robert Eggers, right? I don't want to get the name wrong.
Yeah, Robert
Yeah.
Yeah,
Eggers.
I'm excited because Matt and I loved when we saw The Northman, right? That was his last movie, so I'm excited to
Yes.
see where he takes this. And
Which
Lily Rose Depp. I mean, if her dad's not making any more movies, I'm happy to see a Depp in movies, so that'll be
Yeah,
good.
exactly.
And see a crazy William Dafoe again.
right. So
He's always crazy in his movies, man. I just
yeah,
watched Poor Things for the first time with one of my friends like a month or two ago, and although he was kind of tame in that movie a little bit. He
But
didn't
he
look
looked,
tame, but
his character was really fun in that movie.
yeah, he really
yeah.
yucked. What they say that he really yucked it up or chewed the screen with
Yeah,
that role.
I'm so
However,
I'm so glad we live in the age where like William Dafoe is like now like a big like um big actor who's been like in a lot of projects. Because I
Mhm.
always thought he was good, but I always felt like he was underutilized for a while.
Yeah,
So I'm really glad he's getting a lot of roles, getting a lot of work.
definitely.
I told you I saw Poor Things, and I thought like all the sex stuff was like blown way out of proportion. Like everybody's reaction to the sex stuff, I thought was way overhyped.
Yeah, because
Yeah,
movies are
no, it was.
sexless now. There's no sex in movies anymore. All the main movies that you see nowadays,
speaking of
everything you
which,
can see in a frickin' regular theater, there's no sex in it. It's not even
It was
sexy.
It was mostly our friend that blew it way out of
Yeah.
proportion.
Well, that's because he was like, "Oh my gosh, I accidentally went to see this with my dad and it was so embarrassing." That's what he said.
And then when I saw the movie, I'm like, this really isn't that bad.
No,
No,
it's
what
not.
would be worse is if you saw it with your mom.
Although I did watch
That'd be
my
a little more
parents the Tom
embarrassing.
Brady roast, and I regret that. I mean, it was fine, but we didn't expect the raunchiness of that, and I should have expected that because I hadn't seen one of those roasts in probably since I was like in high school or middle school. Because they don't
It
do
was
the
probably
roast
the
anymore
same with
because of, oh,
fun.
we're gonna say something offensive and we're gonna be canceled.
Ooh.
But anyway, what else is new? Oh,
I
well,
thought
you said it's. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I thought the sex scene in Terminator was more awkward and uncomfortable than the sex scenes in Poor Things.
Although I didn't, I rewatched X prior to seeing Maxine, and I didn't expect. I forgot about all the sex scenes in that movie.
It's about
Yeah.
a porno.
I forgot. I was just. I don't know. I
No,
was
no.
thinking more of like the second half of the movie, I guess.
No. The sex scenes in the room are more awkward than the ones in Poor Things.
Yeah.
Word.
Well, yeah, of
Oh,
course those
yeah.
are more awkward. They're all. Did Sean ever see Boogie Nights? Because God help him if he ever watches Boogie Nights.
Oh gosh.
I'll have to ask him.
Yeah.
But anyway. Oh, the other thing, Zach, you probably were going to talk about this Sony buying the Alamo drafthouse or whatever.
Yes, Sony bought the Alamo Drafthouse theater chain to save it from possible bankruptcy. I don't know how I feel about this because back in the golden age of Hollywood, studios did own theaters, and the laws against that basically ended the studio system of them pumping out movies left and right. So I'm curious to see how this affects, I don't know, how I guess the workers are treated at these theaters and also what movies are being shown. I mean obviously they're going to be showing their movies there, but it just makes me
Well,
curious how that's going to go because that hasn't happened in, what was it, Matt, 75 years ago?
It was back in the 30s.
Oh, so old, so like 80 pushing 90 years ago.
so wait, where a studio owns a theater chain, like
Yeah, studios used to own theaters. But then there was laws put into place that said they couldn't do that. Let me look it up. Laws, studio, theaters.
It kind of makes sense that there's been laws against it because otherwise, like, it would make more sense that studios owned theaters.
right.
Oh, it was in the 40s. My bad. It was a Supreme Court decision in the 40s
Mm.
called the Paramount Consent Decree.
The Paramount Descent Decree. Yep. That was and then that obviously theaters couldn't own, I mean, oh, I'm sorry, studios couldn't own theaters anymore after that. So I'm
I
wondering
mean,
how this I wonder how this goes around that then.
Well,
I'll have
they
to look
were
into that more.
also part of a they were an anti-competitive monopoly. Well, that's actually just there were. It was a very monopolistic practice
Right.
back
yeah.
then. It was just this vertical integration. We just
Mm-hmm.
have the production studio making the movies, and then it going to the company's own theater chain, and them having showing those specific movies and stuff like that. So
I mean,
yeah.
honestly, when you think about it, that's kind of what streaming services are now.
Yeah, a little bit.
I mean,
Oh, as part of a 2019 review of its ongoing degrees, the Department of Justice issued a 2-year sunsetting notice for the Paramount Decree in August of 2020, believing the antitrust restrictions was no longer necessary as the old model could never be recreated in contemporary settings.
But yet it did.
At least they argued. Well, I mean,
Well, the thing is, how
They-
big is Alamo Drafthouse? I mean, I know it's a chain, but they don't have like the power or influences like Regal, AMC,
Well, the
or
thing is, they are limited, but they are limited inherently because they can only cater to adults.
Oh yeah, that's true.
That's a good point. I didn't even think of that.
Oh,
It
and
was
then
funny
like
because this news came out after Alex and Matt and I went to an Alamo Drafthouse, so I thought it was kind of
yeah,
interesting.
like a few days after,
Like
right?
yeah, like a few days after.
Yeah, dude, I really want to go. I really want
You
to go to
should.
one.
It's fun. I hope they open up more, but I don't know now. Maybe now Sony owning it will help.
But I saw it was mostly like the ones on the West Coast weren't doing as good.
Yeah, I think they closed some on the West Coast.
imagine one closing in Texas.
The Alamo.
Well, yeah, no, that'd be pretty bad.
Oh, one other news thing I wanted to say was before we went to
Like, I
somebody
hope
else
I hope people remember that.
that they remember that. They remember the Alamo Draft House that closed in Texas. Eddie Murphy reveals Shrek 5 is already in the works and that he's already recorded lines for it.
Oh,
God,
goody.
what was the
And that
last thing Eddie
there's
Murphy
also a
was in?
donkey movie. There's a donkey movie on the way as well.
Well, Eddie Murphy is Beverly Hills Cop 4 coming out pretty soon.
Yeah.
So he's probably promoting that and talking about Shrek 5. Thoughts?
Um,
I mean, Shrek was fun when it came out, but I mean, I don't know. I feel
Shrek
like
2's great.
I
And
mean, I like
2
the
is
original.
great.
I like Shrek, but I feel like DreamWorks as a whole kind of grew up past that phase, and it's
I remember one of my friends
I
said
don't
the other
know
day. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
if Shrek 5 is as good as the last Puss in Boots movie was, then
well then yeah.
maybe it might be something, but I'd have to see it to believe it, you know.
But you have to wonder too. You have to wonder if the reason Puss in Boots was so good is because the studio just let them experiment because no one really cares about Puss in Boots,
Right.
and you
Yeah,
have
because
to
the
wonder
first
if
movie was like 2011.
yeah, and then the
It's
second one was
weird
just,
and not as beloved as any of the Shrek movies.
yeah, that's what I thought was bizarre. And then like the second one that comes out 2 years ago, and everyone's saying that it's this great fucking thing,
yeah,
which it was, but
well, yeah, you see clips of it like all over the internet, and you're like, God damn, what right does a Puss in Boots movie of all things have to being this good? Like, what?
oh, and
Puss,
then the
Puss in
other
Boots is the best DreamWorks movie to come out in like 5 years? What?
And then the other thing too is the fourth Shrek is called Shrek Forever After, so it's
Shrek.
it's just weird now. So
Because it
You
seems like
mean the fourth?
a
Okay.
seems like a kind of finale kind of thing. You mean?
yeah, because it's called Shrek Forever After, and now that there's going to be a fifth one, it's a fucking lie now.
Mm. I mean,
Well,
I never saw Shrek 4, so but because by then
I think I saw it when it came out.
I already had like Shrek fatigue.
That was the one with like Rumpelstiltskin and
Yeah, I heard it was okay, but it still wasn't like as good as the first two.
yeah, the third one was
Ass.
all right.
Yeah, I didn't finish the third one.
Third one was lame.
I remember liking it when I was a kid, though, but I tried watching it again, but I was like, nah, not for me.
Excuse me.
Yeah, but yeah, so there's more Shrek and Shrek universe stuff coming eventually. We'll see, because Mike Myers and Cameron Diaz have been. Well, I know she was in some Netflix movie with Jamie Foxx, but
which is coming out, I think, later this year.
yeah, which I thought she retired because her movies kept flopping. But
Yeah,
Yeah.
she hadn't been in a movie since 2014, which was the year Sex Tape, The Other Woman, and Annie came out, and all three of them were bad.
yeah, so that she that caused her, yeah, that she retired. But she's just
But
in
I
bad
haven't.
movies.
I mean, I haven't. I've seen two of the three.
Fun
But
fact: Sex Tape was one on the short list for Worst Picture that year at the Razzies.
oh, I believe it.
I believe it.
Oh.
That movie was awful.
Wait, Zach, didn't you say you were forced to see that, or was that something else?
Oh, that was I was forced to see A Million Ways to Die in the West.
Oh
Which-
no! You said your
which
friend
was
was
also on the short list of the year it came out for Worst Picture at the
because I
Wait,
remember
Razzies.
you telling me there was a movie where your friend got pissed because you didn't want to see it with him.
It was
And
Sex Tape.
I couldn't remember if it was Sex Tape or A Million Ways to Die in the
I
West.
mean, I saw A Million Ways to Die in the West, and then whatever it was. Then when Sex Tape was coming out, I'm like, I'm not seeing that. I'll see something else. Then he got so pissed. He's like, well, then we won't see anything. Then I'm like, fine.
But there was a lot of better movies that came out at the time of Sex Tape. There was Dawn of the
Oh.
Planet of the Apes. There was
I know, and I think he would have liked that too.
Are you no longer friends with this guy?
No, I am. I'm gonna be the best man at his wedding in August.
Oh, okay.
oh, it's the guy that you said has similar movie tastes to me.
Yeah, we do not have similar movie tastes at all.
Mm.
I mean, he likes some classic movies, like I think he likes some mobster movies. And I mean, I like comedies, but I'm very like picky about my comedies. I mean, I'll see anything, but my sense of humor is not doesn't align with the sense of humor in a lot of these comedy movies that come out
Look,
now.
It's not that many great ones coming out anymore.
Well, to
Yeah.
be pissed off because you didn't want to see Sex Tape is just hilarious to me.
I didn't. I refused to see it. I actually don't think I ever saw it.
No, you
Oh,
don't.
I was thinking of A Million
you,
Ways to Die in the West. I was like, that movie was awful. And then he wanted
you
to see
don't
Sex
need
Tape.
to see Sex Tape.
I never saw Sex Tape, but I did see Bad Teacher, which I think came out the year prior.
I saw
Think it-
that.
That was
It
awful.
was-
Yeah, I
think-
hated that movie. I think I watched that over a group of friends' house in high school.
Zach, guess who was in that?
Cameron Diaz,
Well, no, not Gibby, but Eric Stone Street.
Eric Stone Street. That's right. He was in that. Oh man.
But also Gibby.
But also Gibby.
Oh,
Yippee!
I think Gibby was kind of the reason I said, okay, I'll watch it, because it's like it's
Yeah,
Gibby.
exactly.
It's Gibby. Come on.
All right.
Oh, and Phyllis.
Oh, go ahead. What?
And Phyllis was in
Yes,
that.
Aunt Phyllis, who you could see in Inside Out too.
But yeah, I think this kind of segues into Ben's topic a little
Okay.
bit.
Yeah. Go ahead, Ben.
Yeah, so I'm pretty sure we've talked about comfort movies, but I don't think we've talked about guilty pleasures.
I don't think we have. No.
Pleasure.
A lot of those. So I'll
Guilty
do the best I
pleasures.
can.
Which, by the way, just a little side tangent. I don't like the term guilty pleasure.
That's
Wow.
okay.
I feel
That's
like
okay.
it. Well, because I feel like it implies that I'm supposed to be somewhat ashamed of liking something, which
Right.
don't. Which I don't feel ashamed about liking anything.
So let's come up with something else we could call it.
Oh God.
Sinful,
would say
sinful
some type of
desires.
pleasure, like a feel good. Well, then if I say a feel good pleasure, then it's like comfort
Oh, here we
movie.
go. Something from Twitter.
Feel good pleasure sounds a little too sus.
Yeah.
Oh,
Here's one. Terrible movie I loved as a child and I'm now forever loyal to and nostalgic for.
But what if you don't think it's terrible? You just
Nostalgia, then? I don't
It's
know.
a very long name.
yeah.
Nostalgia
Hey, how about
pleasure?
this? Movies we like.
Nostalgia critic.
So maybe movies we liked that the general critics did not.
All right, that's yeah.
But that needs a name. It can't. Like, we need to name it.
Let's trademark it.
Ah, fuck. All right.
I guess we can go back to that later. But anyway,
So anyway, I have a lot of those kinds of movies, and half the movies I watch are kind of movies like that.
Mm.
And,
Yeah, you can
an
go ahead.
Adam Sandler movie is not an answer. It's not a good enough answer.
Which
what about
Adam
one in
Sandler movie?
particular?
So
All
All of them. His entire filmography.
even the good ones.
Right.
But in terms of like the ones that aren't generally loved, I will say I really like Grown Ups.
I thought most people like Grown Ups, or
I
like
the
or
first
entertain.
one, I think.
Yeah, I thought Grown Ups was overall at positive.
Oh, but
opinions
only
about-
10% on Rotten Tomatoes. So
And
that's-
Grown Ups was also on the Razzie shortlist that year it came out for
Oh.
Worst Picture. Oh, so I found the Razzie shortlists for all of the worst pictures all the way up to like
Please
2010.
don't make me laugh and almost piss my pants again.
Oh man, I missed a lot.
So
kidding.
I found all of that, and I even have it as a freaking Google Doc. I also found 2008 where they nominated High School Musical 3 and Speed Racer, which was weird, but okay.
That is weird.
High
Both of
School
those movies
Musical-
did okay.
High School Musical 3. That seems just kind of mean nominating that.
No, I know it does.
It does. It's like what they nominated, like freaking It's like them nominating Morbius.
Well,
A little bit.
Well,
Morbius
Well,
was
nice.
a bad movie.
Morbius
and kinda
Morbius
deserved
kind of
it.
deserves the hate it gets.
yeah, it does.
Not as much as Madam Web, though.
Oh god, I heard that movie's
Oh,
terrible.
that movie was so bad. Oh my god.
Hold on, is it still on Netflix?
It's on Netflix.
Should we? Yeah, we should watch it together. And
should
maybe,
watch it
Maybe it
together.
will be the guilty pleasure of us all.
Yes.
Well, yeah, getting back to the topic, were there any more guilty pleasures you wanted to share with us, Alex? Are you good?
So let's see. So
no.
Grown Up, I also like Grown Ups too.
See, that's the one I always thought everybody hated was Grown Ups 2.
And I didn't mind it. I mean, it was stupid, but the thing was, that movie didn't have Rob Schneider. And that was like one of the things I didn't like about the first one was him. So, and another Adam Sandler movie is Pixels. But if we're going into movies from my childhood, there was one I watched recently, the Robin Williams, Jeff Daniels movie, RV. You guys have seen that, right?
I have, yeah.
A long time ago.
But there's one scene in it that's cringe, but besides that, should I talk about that scene or no?
Sure, you
briefly,
can,
I
yes.
guess.
So he has to clean the septic tank in the RV.
Oh,
I knew it had to do with poop. I knew it had to do with
I
poop.
know. Yeah, we knew.
yeah. I kind of now that
Part
you said
of me
that,
is like, oh my gosh, I have a visceral experience with this film involving poop.
And I burned it into your brain again, didn't I?
Yes.
You know what? I forgot the scene, but like I remember there was some scene like that in that movie.
And
like-
there was.
Within the span of the aughts, there was just comedy movies that came out like every once in a while, like every couple of months, and it had to have a joke that involved poop in some way. It was always poop.
Mm-hmm.
Shit, if you will.
Like, I don't know, that was the only... Remember that was the movie where it was like Josh Hutcherson is a major douchebag?
Yeah.
Go after a kid like that.
Hmm.
Well, he's not a kid anymore, but I mean...
He was also in Five Nights at Freddy's.
Yeah, I was about to say, now he's gainfully
He's-
employed at Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria.
That movie was shit also.
Freddy Five Bear.
Okay.
Freddy Five Bear
What other pleasures, Alex?
is Bite of
Let's see.
87.
Okay, so there's like a lot of movies from when I was a kid that I get pleasure out of watching now.
Let's just go over like your favorites, like the ones you think
Yeah.
people hate them or over hate the most.
I think people overhate Daddy Daycare. I think that movie's funny.
Oh.
Not Daddy Day Camp.
Oh,
I think I told you guys this, and I don't know whether or not I've said this in
I think
in
you've
the
told us
pod.
it, but I don't know if it made a pod.
But
What-
me and my brother, when we were younger, we went to see Daddy Day Camp because we watched Daddy Daycare on TV before, like a couple
Yeah,
times.
I think
and
I
we
saw it on
liked
TV also.
Yeah.
I don't know if it'd be to my taste now, but I remember enjoying it, the original. But then we went to the movie, and I'm watching it, and I'm like, man, this movie kind of sucks.
That's another movie where it had a
Maybe the
shit joke.
You probably liked the first one.
Yeah.
No, like the first one is good. No, but Daddy Day Camp, that's another movie with a scene involving shit.
Oh god. And that's why Million Ways to Die in the West has a scene like that.
Oh God, are you talking about the one where Neil Patrick Harris?
Yeah, we don't need to talk about it. Yes.
Goes on for like 5 minutes. God damn it.
Yeah, come on, man. We gotta get away from the poo-poo jokes.
Yeah. Anything else, Alex? Your favorites that people don't like?
I feel like people overhate Good Burger. I think that could be just me.
I don't know. I've seen clips of Good Burger. That main character seems pretty fucking annoying.
Yeah,
No, but
I watched it recently. I watched it about, I don't know, almost a year ago, I think. And
you watched it like
pretty
around the
annoying.
time the second one came out.
Yeah, and I still haven't seen the second one.
Let's see. I thought there were a lot of people who were nostalgic for Good Burger. It's just that they rewatched it as like adults and realized, oh no.
But and Dan Schneider's in it too. It's just that whole documentary was.
It's just your typical like whatever 90s like goofy movie. I mean, I liked it for what it was.
Well, it was like a very Nickelodeon-esque movie, wasn't it?
Yes,
Yeah, it was. Well, yeah, it was Nick movie.
Oh,
Because
dude, remember when Nickelodeon used to produce movies? God,
Oh yeah.
that's
My first movie was a Nickelodeon movie I saw in theaters. It was Rugrats Go to Paris. That was the first ever movie I saw in the theater.
Yo,
let's go.
Rugrats. I thought Rugrats Go to Paris. I thought was like better than the first one.
I thought it was too. I guess I mean, I think people liked it at the time, but that'd probably be a guilty pleasure for me, I guess, because it was the first movie I ever saw.
I think Rugrats in general, because I feel like people nowadays like to hate on it because how ugly the art style is.
Oh, I know.
Right. Yeah, it's like.
All right, I got two more.
All right.
Hubie Halloween.
Well, yeah, Adam Sandler.
And I don't know if you guys are going to agree with me on this or not, but the fucking Cat in the Hat.
No, I agree with that.
You actually
I can tentatively agree with that. Yeah. I don't think it's a great movie.
No,
but it's like
fun to watch, honestly.
What's the difference between a guilty pleasure and a so bad it's good movie?
Oh, good.
Are there a difference, or does it overlap?
I always felt like guilty pleasure. You actually like get some like unironic. Yeah, some like unironic. You're not just there to laugh at it. You actually like enjoy watching the movie.
I don't know. I guess I'll say that.
Sometimes I feel like I get some unironic enjoyment from watching so bad it's good movies, though.
Yeah. Zach, I think I know what your work. Oh wait, no, this isn't a guilty pleasure. I was gonna say Mordecai.
Well, one of my worst movies.
Yeah. I was gonna say
Alex.
I was gonna say Mordecai, but I've never actually seen that.
Yes, that movie was shit. That
Um,
movie is don't please do not watch Mordecai.
Wait, is that Johnny
your
Depp
eyes will
movie?
your eyes will bleed.
Yes.
yes, Johnny Depp was in that.
Okay.
It's so bad. I don't know how that didn't kill both their careers, Gwyneth Paltrow and Johnny Depp. That movie was so bad.
Anyway, okay, moving on.
Who's next?
Zach or Matt?
I can go.
Oh,
Alright.
I mean, yeah, I don't know the difference between like so bad it's good and the guilty pleasure. So I'll give a couple of them.
Okay, well, hold on.
Um,
Here, is there a movie that you generally like that other people, by and large, usually pan on or don't like?
Okay, I know I recently watched within the last year I watched the movie Belly, with Nas and DMX. And I
Oh, yeah.
thought, wow, that
Yeah.
movie's actually really good. It's a beautiful looking movie, and I bought it in 4K. And then I looked, apparently it's got a Rotten Tomato score of 23. And I was like,
Really? I wouldn't
"What?"
expect that. Really?
It's
Wow.
it's a fun movie. Also, Hype Williams hasn't made another movie since then, and he has to get out of director's jail. It's been since 1998 since he's directed, so he's got to direct something again.
So it's been over 25 years. Damn.
What's he been
Yeah.
doing this whole time?
Something. I don't know.
Something. Well, obviously he's doing something,
Yeah.
but he's not directing.
It's like that kid who's like really awkward and shy around girls, and then when he finally like gets the confidence to like talk to one of them, she says "ew," and then it's like it's like years later before he gets the confidence again.
I like the scene in Belly where Ox's home is being invaded, and he brings out like a machine gun, and he's like, "You wanna romp with me? You wanna
Hilarious.
bombaclat romp with me?" I love that.
God damn it.
Any others?
Well, that's the one that stood out to me because I remember it was like a tweet that was like, "Oh, what's a movie that got a low score on Rotten Tomatoes that you really liked?" And I remember that was one of them. I remember one of my favorite movies of all time, which is a cult classic. It was Perfect Blue from Satoshi Kon.
Yeah.
Way back in the day, like over a decade ago. This is old Rotten Tomatoes, by the way, before the rebrand and before the buyout. It was like 61%, which is kind of mid, but it's kind of like just right in the middle there of being like fresh or and rotten and stuff like that. It's like teetering on the line there, and I'm like, what? It's so good though. But nowadays it's like it's like at 80 something percent, or I don't know what the hell. It helps that it got like a Blu-ray release and like re-releases in theaters and stuff like that, and I guess more people see it now. And also just I don't know. People were hating on it back then because they were like, "Oh, why was this movie animated? It didn't have to be. They could have just filmed it." And it's like,
What
well,
is it?
Perfect Blue.
Oh,
It's
okay.
actually a film viewer's film.
Yeah.
But when we watched it, we watched the English dub, which was my mistake. I should have done the subtitled, but that was my bad. But what are you gonna do?
Okay. Either I can go or Zach can go next.
I can go. So I believe it used to be a guilty pleasure. Mine was Cheaper by the Dozen, the remake with Steve Martin.
That movie's pretty good, yeah.
That I used to watch that movie all the time. And I just liked the whole big family thing. Is I don't really have that big of a family, so I guess I kind of liked it because of that. I really did like the cast, and there was some people in that cast that I knew from Disney and Nickelodeon shows at the time and other films. So
And
that's what
plus,
made it
you
fun. And
can't
I'm
go
also,
wrong with, Steve Martin.
yeah, I also love Steve Martin. I love all things I've seen him in. He's hilarious. He's my favorite ever host of Saturday Night Live. He's just the wild and crazy guy. I just like all his stuff. But that one in particular, probably because it came out like when I was a kid and I was the same age as some of the kids in the movie that were his kids. So I
Oh
would say
yeah.
that. Also, Benchwarmers was another guilty pleasure of mine.
Oh
Oh,
yeah,
fucking
dude.
Benchwarmers. Oh my
Ben-
god, I forgot about
Benchwarmers
that.
was good.
I
I
still
know.
fucking watch it. I still fucking watch it every now and then.
Yeah, even Rob Schneider couldn't ruin Benchwarmers.
Right. Like that whole
Uh,
storyline where he was like a bully, like I still like that bothered me and still bothers me.
hmm
But it
I
just
was
shows
like,
you that people can change.
but when I was a kid watching that movie, I was like, this feels like an Adam Sandler movie that Adam Sandler wasn't in.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just
Well,
was funny. I just enjoyed it. Like I didn't think it was bad.
yeah,
No,
I enjoyed it too. I'd imagine if I saw it now, I'd probably think it's a little more cringe, but I don't know.
Yeah.
It's that was a good movie. Um,
Oh, and one more I have is I used to watch this movie all the time on VHS. And fun fact, this was the Dwayne the Rock Johnson's first movie. The Mummy Returns.
Oh
oh
yeah.
my god,
It's
yeah.
definitely not as good as the first, but it's incredibly entertaining.
wait,
I was entertained
people,
by it, yeah.
I thought people liked the second Mummy, by and large.
Oh, do
They
they?
Oh.
Oh,
like it,
I just
especially when
figured,
compared to the third one. But
yeah. I just figured compared to the first one,
it's
people didn't
it's
like
it's
it.
not as beloved, and the special effects certainly haven't aged well.
Mm,
Scorpion King.
yeah, those PS2 era graphics have not aged well.
Also, I used to think that I was also thought as a kid that like what was it? The female villain. I thought she was attractive.
The one from the
Um,
remake?
no, the she was like had black hair, kind of looked like you
Oh,
know like
Rachel
a
Wise.
like freaking Cleopatra.
Not Rachel Wise, right?
No, the villain in it. I don't know. I forget her name. She wasn't
Okay.
anybody that huge, but
Oh,
yeah. And also
Salma.
Brendan Fraser, I thought did a good mix of action work and comedy work, which is why I kind of liked those movies. Although his brother-in-law used to annoy me, that actor that was in it. He played like the uncle, and the kids like I've rewatched it. I think maybe a year or two ago. Their son in it is kind of annoying, but he's not the most annoying kid I've seen in a movie.
Mm.
Goes to the kid and Jingle All the Way.
Yeah.
Young
Um.
Anakin Skywalker, he loses again. That boy can't get a W to save his soul.
No, he could not. And I guess
Um,
another bonus one would be although I haven't watched it in a long time, I used to enjoy before I really got into this franchise, Godzilla from 1998.
oh yeah.
Oh, the
But
Roland
then I
Emmerich.
saw but then I saw better Godzilla movies. This is before I knew about the Japanese Godzilla movies, and
Mm.
yeah, I haven't watched it in a long time, and I think if I watched it now I would hate it, but I used to enjoy that movie as a guilty pleasure too.
It's funny because the Japanese movies were the ones that made me curious to watch the Roland Emmerich one because I
Oh,
thought,
so it's like the
more
opposite.
Godzilla, and then I'm like, I don't like this.
Yeah, it was the first
This is
Godzilla movie I ever saw. Was the Roland Emmerich
this
1998
is
Godzilla
not
movie.
Godzilla.
Yeah, I thought it was like it reminded me of like Jurassic Park.
Yeah, dude, it does. Especially like the scene with like the baby Godzillas.
Yeah, it was like what is this? The Raptors? Like what
Yeah,
the
it
hell?
reminded you of the scene with the raptors in Jurassic Park.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
So I'll have to maybe
Before we
rewatch
move
it.
on to Ben,
Oh yeah,
uh,
I
there,
those are all mine.
there were two more when Zach was talking. It kind of reminded me of two that I forgot to mention.
Oh my gosh, you have so many.
No, it's just two.
Just kidding.
You got to make a letterbox list, Alex, of this.
So I can't believe I forgot to mention this movie, Paul Blart.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, that I used to watch that every Black Friday. Then I stopped.
And that's what I do now.
I
There
thought
you
people
go.
I thought people liked Paul Blart when it came out, the first one.
Like
Yep.
audiences, I feel like liked it.
Yeah, but now
I personally, I mean, I know that we all, it's kind of a meme
Yeah, in our
with
group.
with
yeah.
our group, but I thought like all the really funny scenes, with the exception of maybe the twist it, feel the nub scene.
Yeah.
Mhm.
All of that, all of the funny scenes in the movie were kind of in the trailer.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
I agree.
I don't remember that trailer, to be honest with you. So
No, you don't remember it because like it always played "Living on a Prayer" by Bon Jovi.
Oh
Like
yeah, that's right.
every trailer had "Living on a Prayer." I
And this
remember.
was like right after Kevin James stopped doing the King of Queens. So
Yeah,
well, he
But-
did do Chuck and Larry before that, but
We don't
yeah,
talk about Chuck and Larry.
it was right before he sold his.
We won't.
soul
We won't
to
talk
Adam
about Chuck and
Sandler.
Larry. This is Pride Month. God damn it.
Yeah, we will not
Um,
talk about that awful movie that I never saw and probably will never see.
how do you know it's awful then if you've never seen it?
Because
Because
I
it's
say it's
homophobic,
awful.
isn't
It's
it?
bad.
Isn't it homophobic? Isn't it really homophobic and racist?
Yeah, no, it's a movie I would watch all the time in high school. I would never realize how homophobic it actually was.
I can't stand
That's probably
homophobic
because you were in
things.
high school and it's
Probably
funny to
probably
be
because you
homophobic.
were in high school in the
Right. And you
early
weren't like
2000s when it was funny to be homophobic.
yeah, when it was ironically
in
funny
the
to be
early
homophobic.
2010s, where it was right before like, hey, maybe homophobia is bad.
Yeah.
Oh, and
Maybe
then
it's a little bad.
when
Or
Zach was
really bad.
Steve Martin,
Oh
right?
yeah.
The Pink Panther.
Yes. The first
Oh.
one I enjoyed that. Yeah.
All right,
This-
This is one I'll agree with. Yeah.
The
I enjoyed
second
the
one was
first Steve Martin
awful,
one.
though.
Second one
Another
was
thing
boring.
I'll agree with you with.
Yeah. The second one would not probably rewatch, but I would rewatch the first one again.
Yeah, I like the first one.
Good one, Alex.
Mm.
Oh, the Eddie Murphy Haunted Mansion I liked and still
Yeah,
like.
that movie wasn't bad.
I only saw that once.
All right, Ben, your turn.
Okay. Well, since Alex mentioned Cat in the Hat, I guess I'll mention the live action Grinch movie, even though like it's watching it today is kind of horrifying with the Who's and their weird like face prosthetics.
I know.
Like that was creepy. But like
No, it was.
But I enjoyed live action Grinch when I was a kid, and I'd probably still watch it and find some entertainment out of it.
I still watch it like every couple of years. And
Yeah, I also do that too.
it's just because Jim Carrey, we realize as adults how funny he actually was. Like how funny some of his lines were.
That makeup was incredible. My gosh.
Yeah, that
I would
Grinch
never
suit
know that was
awesome.
him.
And
It's too bad
but
the Cat in the Hat didn't like do a better job of that.
Well,
I
I mean,
remember I saw a video where he's tells a story where some kids were like, "Oh, hey, it's the Grinch," and he does a face, and then the like someone says like, "Oh, I thought that was makeup."
the other thing too was like I remember being horrified
damn,
when I was a child and I wouldn't watch it. Like,
damn, I don't know if that was a compliment or a burn.
No, he does like a Grinch face, like on purpose. It's like, "Oh, I thought that
yeah,
was
he still
makeup."
does it sometimes, once in a while. Like
Yeah,
with
and
his face.
I've said before, I'm not the biggest Jim Carrey fan, but I did like him as the Grinch.
Mm-hmm. Any other ones, Ben?
Yeah. So this one might ruffle some feathers, but I don't know if have I mentioned before that Attack of the Clones is my favorite prequel?
No,
Yes,
or
you
not to
have.
me.
Yeah.
I did.
Okay.
Maybe you did, and I don't remember.
Yeah, Attack of the Clones is actually my favorite prequel.
Interesting.
It used to be Phantom Menace, but then I rewatched it as an adult, and I was like, I'm kind of bored.
No,
Oh,
I
you're
don't.
not-
I do not like Phantom Menace.
Yeah,
Oh, so
like
you're not a Revenge of the Sith fan? Because I love Revenge of the Sith.
I just can't take the over the top angsty like
I get
early
it.
2000 angsty vibes that came off the Revenge of the Sith.
I get it.
Plus, it's the only one where like I know roughly what's going to happen, right?
Right, because it's leading right into he's gonna turn to the dark
Yeah, it
side.
becomes Darth Vader. You know the
Mhm.
Jedi are going to get wiped out.
Collapse.
You know the
Yeah.
Empire. Yeah, so it's like, I mean, in my mind, I'm like, I don't want to watch that. I want to watch fun space wizards, fight, go on
Right.
space adventures.
What do you like about Attack of the Clones?
This is mindless entertainment. That's all it is. Like,
The first time I ever saw Star Wars was the Geonosis Battle of Geonosis was the first time I ever witnessed Star Wars. I'm like, I want to watch that.
well, plus, I like, I like the world building, or
Hmm.
in the second one, or the Attack of the Clones. Like,
Yeah.
Geonosis looked cool. I like the or the speeder chase in Coruscant.
Yeah.
Camino, that was also really cool.
Yeah, that was a good scene.
Yeah, I just
I like the separatist whole angle too. It's like the dark side, the light side, or whatever it was, the Trade
and then a
Federation, and then you
bunch
have
of
the
corporate
separatists.
cunts.
Yeah.
You have the Sith, the Jedi, and then a bunch of greedy corporate cunts.
Hmm. But they all die.
In the Revenge of the Sith, they do.
Yeah, Anakin massacres them, and the Mustafa.
Mm-hmm.
Mustafa!
Ah.
Go to Mustafa! Wipe out Viceroy Gunray and all the other separatist leaders.
So, and then another movie that came to mind that actually like made me think of this topic was again another Roland Emmerich movie.
I have a lot of those.
I know, but Day After Tomorrow. That's like
Oh yeah,
that's like
I saw that
my
a long time ago, but I remember not hating it.
look. It's one of
Sorry, excuse me, but I love the idea that someone's critique of it is. I remember not hating it. Sorry, Zach, but I think
It's all right.
I think that's just funny. A funny way of praise.
I think I watched it in school because we were watching it because I think we were talking about like weather and the climate, and I don't know if we watched the entire movie, but we watched like most of it, and
Can you believe some of the movies that they put in front of us in like
yeah,
middle school and elementary school?
this was middle school. This was like 8th grade, I think.
and they're like, here, learn from this.
Here, climate change, bad. Oh, whatever the movie was going for, I don't remember.
Yeah, it was climate change. That's
Have
one
I-
of that's one of the reasons why I like I like both ironically and unironically like this movie because it's like it's Roland Emmerich at his peak because he's trying to be like semi-serious with this one
Yeah,
and talk about climate change. But
yeah,
like he has like the most ridiculous fucking like set pieces in the movie. Like it's like it really felt like somebody who knew nothing about who only heard about climate change from like TV ads try to make a movie about climate change or what they thought climate change was.
yeah.
So according to Roland Emmerich, climate change means that we'll instantaneously have violent blizzard hurricanes that'll put all of the North America and Europe in instant ice ages. There'll be hail will fall from the sky the size of Nintendo Switches.
That was
Just
a funny
like-
one to compare it to.
Yeah, it's just it's ridiculous, but it's also entertaining to watch.
Hmm.
And I like it because you could tell Roland Emmerich was trying to be like kind of serious, like, oh, this is a serious movie. This is about climate change, which makes it even better because it's like you clearly knew nothing about climate change when
Climate
making
change
the
when you
movie.
made this movie. Yeah.
Yeah, because I watched Moonfall and like, yeah, it's bad and it's ridiculous and goofy, but it also felt like he wasn't trying either. He was just like, just the moon is a Dyson sphere and it's going to hit Earth and it's just going to have all these crazy shit happen. And it didn't feel like he was actually like trying to be like make something profound.
Yeah.
Mm.
I knew people that saw that ironically, that movie. They're like, we know
Yeah.
it's bad, but we're gonna see it anyway.
It's like Moonfall was bad, but like it's like it felt like Roland Emmerich purposely made it bad. It's like he was trying to make a so bad it's good movie, and it's just
Yeah.
it's ironic.
Doing that always
It-
fails.
It misses the irony because
Yeah,
you have to have the irony aspect.
exactly.
Anyway, so those are some of my guilty pleasures. I'm sure there's others, but I mean, those are the biggest ones that come to my mind.
Cool.
Nice.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah,
Thank
that was
you.
fun. Well, with that, fortunately, I think I'm gonna head out. Like I said, I got
Okay.
I gotta go work
Okay.
at 5.
Alrighty.
So,
So you'll listen to Matt's thing. Yeah.
You better. It's gonna be on the exam.
I gotta go. Now I gotta go listen to the recent episode. I gotta do homework
Yeah.
now. I gotta do
Yeah.
homework for my own podcast.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, you do.
But it's fun homework.
That's what happens when you miss a podcast recording session.
I literally was in one of them. I was literally in my car driving home from something, and you guys made it like I was in it.
Wait,
That was good. I'll never. I'll never.
Did you do
I'll
a
never-
Zach's soundboard?
That's still that same time. We didn't do it again. They didn't do
Oh,
it
okay.
again, but
No, yeah, I didn't.
just that
Oh,
one time.
Oh, that was the time we did it, or
Yeah.
Yeah,
that was funny.
yeah, it
Mhm.
was.
Well, I'll go listen
I'd enjoyed
to
that.
I'll go listen to the first episode, and then hopefully I'll be brushed up for part 3 of the Ed Wood trilogy.
Yep.
Nice.
All
All
right.
I'll talk to you guys.
All
Talk to
right.
you guys. Bye, Ben.
Alrighty, bye. All right, now
Ed
we got
Wood.
him out of the way. No, just kidding.
We got him out of the way.
All
right.
right, now welcome back to the second part of my segment. So you think you know them? No applause. Okay.
I will
Oh,
clap
yeah.
in. I don't want to clap too loud.
Where I'm talking about Edward D. Wood Jr., the man infamous for being called one of the worst directors of all time. Alrighty, last I left off, I was on Ed's second feature film, the puzzling film noir Jailbait. Now we are about to dive into the genre that Edward is now connected to, horror and science fiction.
Ooh.
I'm going to talk about Edward's film Bride of the Monster, one of his more infamous films. So,
Nice.
Bride of the Monster takes place in a mostly creepy, abandoned house in the middle of the Hollywood marshes, the Old Willows House, where a scientist and foreign expat named Dr. Eric Vornoff, who, along with his assistant, a hulking mute named Lobo, used the place to perform experiments on kidnapped individuals to create superhumans using atomic energy. The police are becoming wise to several disappearances in the area, and Officer Robbins, Lieutenant Craig, and Craig's fiance, newspaper reporter Janet Lawton, decide to go down to the Willows place to investigate, along with the biggest scaredy cat cop of all time, Officer Kelton. I love Officer Kelton. And they meet with Varnoff's experiments, his pet, a giant octopus, which is made up of mostly stock footage that lives in the lake. The film ends in predictable fashion by having Varnoff get shot at as he is making weird faces. He gets knocked over by a rolling rock, falls into the lake, and has a struggle with the octopus, which is a very apparent propped octopus, before eventually getting obliterated in a nuclear explosion. Obviously, he tampered in God's domain. Now, the film was actually in development hell, and there are a lot of various accounts on what actually happened during the making of the film. The film had various titles like The Atomic Monster and The Monsters of the Marsh, before eventually landing on the title that we all know, Bride of the Atom. It was actually originally called Bride of the Atom while filming. It was eventually retitled to the now infamous Bride of the Monster. Ed claimed he wrote the film for Bela. Bela Lugosi played the role of Dr. Varnoff in what would actually be his last film role. Now, knowing this backstory of the Dracula films, the Dracula star, it really enlightens his performance on what is otherwise a stinky film, especially through his monologue where he talks about his home. Home. I have no home, you know. Hunted, despised, living like an animal. The jungle is my home. It's a great scene. So the film started shooting in October 1954 and would eventually have financial problems that would halt the production several times. Filming would take about a year. Ed Wood claimed that the actress that he hired to play the news reporter female lead was rich, but that was actually not the case. Bela Lugosi was very ill and frail during the shooting. In April of 1955, the 72-year-old and recently divorced actor would later enter rehabilitation. He checked himself into the psych ward of the LA General Hospital, weighing 125 pounds, and a judge later had him committed to the state hospital in Norwalk for a minimum of 3 months. There, he would obviously go through the rehab procedure, and he actually eventually met with Frank Sinatra while he was in hospital. True story.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yes.
That's interesting.
So filming would also stop when an actor who played the former friend of Dr. Varnoff's in the film, the actor's name was George Beckwar, complained to the Screen Actors Guild about being underplayed after a day of work, causing a temporary shutdown of the project subject to investigation. With these lost days and the need of financial compensation, Wood needed to find more financial backing. Because of this, Ed Wood spoke ill of Beckwar for the rest of his life, up until the day he died. Very harsh.
Jeez.
This is why you got to pay your actors. Ed Wood would get financial support from a meatpacking tycoon, Donald McCoy. It also so happens that his son, Tony, was playing the romantic lead. Now, some claim that it was a deal made to have him play the lead, as well as to add the said nuclear explosion at the end of the film, in order for Ed to receive the money and financial backing for the film. But there was actually no proof that Donald gave Ed Wood the money so his son could be in the lead, as shown in the Tim Burton biopic. So it's kind of like, not to me, people know for sure. But I think I read somewhere that Tony was cast as the lead before backing was given by his father, Donald. Ed was not a savvy businessman. as you can see from that, and as you will eventually find out, there was apparently a lot of backers for the film, including a Samuel Z. Arkoff, who would eventually create the production company American International Pictures, or AIP, which is the company that would go on to produce a lot of the works of the late Roger Corman. Drink.
Drink.
Drake. Okay.
Rest in peace, Roger Corman.
People claim that Ed Wood was sober during the production, while others claim that he was incredibly drunk. I
Oh,
think
which one do you believe?
Joe Blevins, the writer on the Dead to Rights blog, who does a write up on Ed Wood called Ed Wood Wednesday, and it's a very helpful resource on the man, was correct in equating the production of this film to Rashomon, in that every single member of the cast and crew has conflicting stories of what happened. The production was also the end of Ed Wood's relationship with Dolores Fuller. I briefly covered that in the last part, where in the previous two films, she was the female lead. In this film, she is an on-screen cameo. They eventually broke up. So the film would also have two
Go on with
staple
those sound
actors.
effects.
The film would eventually have two staple actors that would eventually enter Ed Wood's Aurora, however you pronounce it. There
Au
was
revoir, Ms.
Au
Abi.
revoir. There was Tor Johnson, a Swedish wrestler who was 6'3" and weighed 440 pounds, who played the hulking assistant Lobo. Then there was Paul Marco, who was a friend to Ed Wood's, who would appear in a lot of his films. They were introduced by each other by an acquaintance of theirs, the amazing Criswell. He was a national television personality and a phony psychic, whose predictions were all wrong. He would later appear in other Ed Wood's films later on. Marco would play the bumbling Kelton, and he would later reprise that role in later Ed Wood films as well. Lastly, Bride of the Monster would feature a lot of things that you would find in an Ed Wood film, making it part of the more enjoyable, so bad it's good films of Ed's. Let's take the film's plot. What plot?
No plot?
How about the sets that look like Halloween decorations? Or the walls in various rooms that appear to be made out of cardboard that can move at any moment? How about the stilted acting? The obvious use of stock footage? We've got a character's fixation on Angora sweaters. Check off your bingo card for that. It's got it all. Even the fake octopus. Now, unlike in the Ed Wood movie by Tim Burton, the prop octopus was not stolen from a production set. It was, indeed, rented. But, like in the film, it did not have the motor that needed for the actual prop octopus to move. So, when on camera, the actors had to shake it around with their hands to make it appear like it's moving and killing them. Wonderful cheesy goodness.
I love
I
that
give this
cheese.
film 2 out of 5 Lobos. I don't know what I'm saying.
Lobos.
You can easily find this film anywhere, like on DVD, old snap cases, Ed Wood box sets, stuff like that. It's not on
Nice.
Blu-ray though, so
Is it on
Now-
YouTube?
maybe.
Mm.
I believe they did a Mystery Science Theater 3000 episode on this film. You can check that out.
Hmm.
The film eventually premiered on May 11th, 1955, under the Bride of the Atom title. The proceeds from the event would eventually go to help Lugosi's rehab. You can tell that not a lot of money went to Lugosi's rehab. The film,
Oh, jeez.
with its current title, Bride of the Monster, would eventually be a staple in drive-ins around the time. But unfortunately, Wood had oversold shares of the picture and made no return investment. Apparently, he sold about 100% of the shares to the film to various businessmen in order to get money for the production. Most of the profit, though, went to Archive and AIP more than it did to Ed Wood. He inadvertently came up with a scheme from the producers without intending to. I don't know how he did that, he just did. Eventually, Bela Lugosi would leave rehab. He left on August the 4th the same year, and claiming that he was a new man, and he was excited to get back into filmmaking, claiming that his next project would be Ed Wood's film, The Ghoul Goes West, one of Ed's many unproduced films. You could literally make a novel out of all the info of the unmade films of Ed Wood. Lugosi even remarried. He remarried a fan who was actually 37 years his junior.
Huh.
She wrote to him while he was in rehab.
Oh.
Unfortunately, Lugosi's dreams of a comeback were dashed. His role in the film The Black Sheep, which also starred fellow Ed Wood actor Tor Johnson, being relegated to that of a mute butler. Lugosi would slip back into alcoholism, and sadly, Lugosi would have a heart attack and pass away in his sleep on August the 16th, 1956 at the age of 73.
Oh.
Lugosi would be buried in one of his Dracula capes at the wish of his fourth wife Lillian and their son Bela Lugosi Jr. Not at Bela Lugosi's own request, as popular culture would have you believe, and what was also claimed in the film Ed Wood. Edward D. Wood Jr. would also attend the funeral and would actually be a pallbearer. In Ed's possession was some of the last film that he shot with Bela Lugosi. He filmed some scenes in front of Tor Johnson's house with Lugosi picking flowers, crying at a funeral, and also wandering around a cemetery in his Dracula cape. This film might have been intended to be used in The Ghoul Goes West or in the film The Vampire's Tomb, with the latter also never being realized. But this piece of footage would eventually be used. But we turn away from Ed Wood, the director, to Ed Wood, the writer. Ed was a fast writer with an amazing turnaround time. And it was around this time where he started writing films that were eventually produced by those who were not named Ed Wood. The first of these was the film The Violent Years. The Violent Years is a prime example of teenage exploitation films. The film is mostly about a gang of juvenile delinquent high school girls. One of them is a poor little rich girl named Paula. All the girls in the juvenile delinquent gang go by a masculine form of their name. So Paula, I believe, is Paul? Yeah. Now, to fill the emptiness from not getting the attention from her parents, who are usually off doing business-related things or going to societal gatherings and stuff like that, Paula and her gang commit robberies and are generally nihilistic and are possibly interested in communism? Anti-Americanism? I don't know. Her and her friends always say, so what?
So what?
So what? Exactly.
Like, who gives a shit?
Yeah.
Exactly.
The gang one day decide to wreck the school. They sneak in and wreck the school.
Oh, great. They are wrecking a school. I've never seen that before.
Which leads to a shootout with the cops.
I'm sorry, that was funny.
And I
So-
work in a school, so I would know.
I'm just remembering. What was that thing? Devious Licks.
Devious Lick, yeah.
Oh yeah, yep. That was my first job.
And then you
I remember you were like, "Oh, fuck this."
I was
Didn't
like,
someone
and it
steal a
wasn't even at
door
my
in a
school when I
bathroom?
was pissed.
no, you were like you said the school like had to have a fucking meeting about
We
it.
had a
and you
whole meeting
were
about it. Literally, we had an entire meeting about it on a Wednesday. And, like, why? Like, why am I doing this? Like,
like
this is
this
when
could have been-
TikTok was like. Side note: this is when TikTok was like really gaining popularity.
so you were saying like this could have been an email kind of thing.
Right. It could have been explained to an email for us to keep an eye on it, but we had a whole meeting about it.
But that we're not talking about that. We're talking
We're
about
talking about the lovely Ed Wood. We don't need
So
to
the
talk
gang
about that
decide to
bad
wreck the
stuff.
school. The gang decide to wreck the school, which
Okay.
leads to a shootout with the cops, and then one of the cops get killed.
have you ever seen that before, Zach?
No, thank God. And I hope I never do.
While on the run, Paula decides to tie up loose ends and kills one of the girls. Yeah, the remaining two of the gang then go on a high-speed chase with a highway patrolman, and it ends in the death of the other girls and Paul in the hospital under arrest.
Oh jeez.
She is sentenced to life in jail, but dies during childbirth.
Oh no.
She
Wait,
was pregnant
what?
as a result of a makeout party that occurred kind of towards the beginning of the film.
Oh, she died?
Yep.
Oh.
The judge then decides that Paula's parents should not get custody of the grandchild because of the neglectful way that they raised Paula. Now, this film was made not involving Ed Wood directly, other than his uncredited writing for the film. The film was directed by William L. Morgan, a British film editor turned director. He edited a couple films, the more notable ones being the Betty Davis vehicle of Human Bondage,
I've heard
the
of that movie.
the very infamous Disney live-action film Song of the South,
Mm-hmm.
and the sci-fi monster film Tarantula. There's an exclamation point. That's why I said it like that.
Tarantula.
Morgan directed a bunch of obscure films, but The Violent Years is probably one of his most well-known, and I believe his last. He really went out with a bang. Ha ha.
Went out with a bang.
Now, I find this film a little boring and kind of preachy and stuff like that, but it's short. It's less than an hour long, so it's very merciful. You can easily find the film on DVD, but you can also find it on Blu-ray from the American Genre Film Archive. It was out of print for a while, but they had recently brought it back.
Oh, okay.
So, The Violent Years turned out to be the most successful Ed Wood film within his own lifetime. Which was very interesting. It was successful in riding the wave of juvenile, delinquent, and teenage-related films that were coming out at the time. Films like Rebel Without a Cause and Blackboard Jungle, stuff like that, and also a bunch of other B movies that you can go into. But I'm at the end here.
Okay.
So it was very
Okay.
successful, and Ed Wood would ride this high into what would be his next project, Rave Robbers from Outer Space, which we will talk about next time. Now,
And
I know it might seem like I'm extending this a lot, so it's now going to be 3 parts, but I really had to hurry with the script. I wrote this all before we came on tonight, even this part that I am reading right now. And now I know I will get into the porno stuff. You're going to have to wait for that.
oh, gee.
So
Yeah, you build the anticipation.
until next time, we will talk about that in the next pod. Thank you.
Nice. Good job. I like that. That was great.
Well, thank you for listening to a second part of Ed Wood.
Yeah.
Anything you guys want to say before we stop recording?
Put on sunscreen. I accidentally didn't put on sunscreen one day, and I didn't think I was gonna be in the. I was outside for a bit, and I was like, oh, I don't need sunscreen. I don't know why I turned to.
Oh, I
Chris
do that
Walken
all
there.
the time. Don't feel bad.
And
yeah.
then I just the top of my head just kind of reddish, the back of my neck a little reddish, and this morning it was peeling, and I don't like it. It's not fun. So wear sunscreen. It's gonna be hot this summer. Wear sunscreen. And
I've
drink
done
water.
that. Oh yeah.
So I was gonna say stay hydrated, and I don't know if we'll have another pod before this, but hope everybody has a happy 4th of July.
Well, it is next week, so probably not.
So have a good 4th of July, our American friends.
And for those who aren't in America, what are you doing? No, just kidding.
Yeah, what are you doing on July 4th? Hope you do something fun. It's summertime.
We will also be having social media pages come up pretty soon.
Yeah, so look out for those.
Interesting.
And tell your friends and family and your pets.
And then they'll go meow or
Or rough. Or doot, doot. I don't know, whatever a fish noise is. Or ribbit.
Oh, a frog.
Or
A
you have a
snake.
snake.
This is
Oh, also don't drive like shit.
Yeah, watch out for drivers because people like the heat messes up our brains, you know?
especially in Rhode Island. None of you know how to drive. Learn how to drive better. I bet you're like, oh, well, you guys don't want to talk. Well, it's different. We drive aggressively.
Yeah.
You drive shittily. There's a difference.
There is a
So do
difference.
people
You can be
think about
shittily
it.
aggressive driving, but you don't know what to do. Move out of the road. Okay,
Move.
I've alienated our Rhode Island audience.
Move, bitch. Get out of the fucking way. All right.
And we'll end with that.
You know just the time when to end off things before we get aggressive and mad at people.
Oh yeah.
Thanks, Zach.
You're welcome. It's my knowing how shows and things end on funny and ironic, and also when things start to get crazy notes.
Oh God, it's been 2 hours. Get me out of here. Ah, stop.